It starts with the shoes. Black, non-slip, ugly. Within 2 weeks, they'll smell like fryer grease and despair. But you wear them because someone at orientation said, protect your feet. It's the only part of you they don't tip on. You clock in with a forced smile and a shirt one size too small because the manager says it looks more professional. You're 19, maybe 20, and your only goal is to get through the shift without crying in the walk-in. Your section is 5 tables. You memorize their numbers faster than your class schedule. Booths by the window, nightmare during brunch, the two-top near the kitchen, always tips less. Table 14 is cursed, always rude, always stays too long, always leaves loose change like it's generous. The hostess, barely older than you, seats you with a smirk. She gave the patio to the hot one again, the tall girl with lashes for days, and the laugh that makes the regulars come back 3 nights a week. You try not to take it personally, but you do, because you see it happen every shift. Same smile, same menu, same specials. But she gets 20s and compliments, and you get ignored and stiffed. You carry trays heavier than your rent. Coffee pots in one hand, steak plates in the other, balance and charm like it's your job because it is. But no matter how fast you move, how polite you are, how perfect your timing, it never feels like enough. The cute girls get tips just for existing. You get notes that say, you'd be prettier if you smiled more. The kitchen is chaos. Orders flying, tickets lost, cooks screaming, managers walking by, pretending it's under control. You learn to yell without sounding angry. Learn to read printers like Holy Scripture. Learn to nod and apologize for things that aren't your fault. Undercooked chicken, wrong sides, drinks that never arrived. You start to develop a sixth sense for trouble. The table that waves you over before they even sit. The guy who orders water and watches you like a hawk. The couple fighting who will definitely take it out on your tip. You're polite, but never too friendly. Friendly gets misread. You once laughed at a customer's joke and he followed you to your car. Now you keep the laugh short, eyes down, smile tight. You become a master at managing people's comfort, especially men's. They want warm, not too warm. Attractive, not available. Confident, but not bossy. You become fluent in the language of micro decisions. How long to linger at a table, how much to bend, when to disappear. You're constantly being watched, not just by customers, but by coworkers, managers, even other servers, judging your tables, your tips, your smile. It never stops. But you can't stop either, because you need this job. For school, for rent, for groceries, for gas. Because even when it's miserable, it's cash. And cash means control, something you don't get a lot of in this job. So you wipe the tables, you refill the sodas, you scrape gum from underneath the booth. You do it all with a smile you've practiced in the mirror and a voice an octave higher than your real one. Because on the floor, you're not a person. You're a performance. The smile isn't for you, it's for them, the customers, the managers, the other servers who will rat you out for being moody. You put it on like war paint. Highlighter and lip gloss, hair tied tight, name tag straight. You step onto the floor like it's a stage, and you stay on script. Hi there, welcome in. Can I start you off with something to drink? You say it 100 times, maybe more. Always chipper, always bright. Even when your feet are numb and your stomach's eating itself. Even when the couple at table 9 just snapped at you because the fries came out lukewarm. You say, of course, instead of, actually, that's not how it works. You say, my pleasure, instead of, that's not my section. You say, I'll be right back with that, when what you mean is, I have 5 other tables and no help. Because service means swallowing your mood. No one cares if you're on your period, or your breakup, or your 3rd double in a row. If your smile slips, someone's writing a Yelp review titled, Rude Server Ruins Dinner. So you smile. You smile at old men who call you sweetheart and stare too long. You smile when they ask if you're on the menu. You smile when they touch your back to get your attention, even though it makes your skin crawl. You smile when they leave you a gospel pamphlet instead of a tip. And when they say, I bet you make a lot just from being cute, you smile through your molars and try not to break the plate in your hand. It's not just the creeps, it's the ones who pretend to be nice. The guys who flirt just enough to keep you off balance. Who tip better when you laugh at their jokes. Who come in every Friday alone and sit in your section on purpose. Who notice when you change your hair. Who remember your schedule better than your manager does. And the second you stop smiling, they ask what's wrong. Like you owe them comfort. Like your cheerfulness is part of the bill. You want to scream. But you can't. Not here. Not in this place where you wear a name tag instead of a voice. So you make yourself smaller, more polite, more likable. Because likable gets you tips. Tips pay for rent. Rent means you can say no. So you keep smiling even when your jaw hurts. Even when your spine aches from fake posture? Even when your soul feels like it's been left in the dishwasher too long? You watch the clock, count the tables, guess which ones will tip, which ones won't, which ones will leave just enough to keep you quiet, but not enough to make the shift feel worth it. And still, you smile. Because if you stop, someone will call you emotional. And someone else will call the manager. And the manager, he'll ask if everything's okay. Not because he cares, but because your mood might affect sales. Tips are supposed to be gratitude, but they feel more like a grade, a judgment, a performance review written in folded singles, and passive aggression. You learn early. It's not about how good you are. It's about how they feel about you. And sometimes it's about things you can't control. Your face, your voice, your body. Whether you smile just enough, whether they thought you were their type. You could nail a six-top, split the checks perfectly, refill every drink before they ask, remember every allergy, and still 5% or nothing at all. And then you watch the hostess turned server walk out with $300 in tips from 3 tables who called her babe the whole night. You can't blame her. She's doing what she has to. So are you. But it doesn't stop you from noticing that guy's tip better when your makeup's done, when you laugh more, when you lean just a little closer while taking their order. You're not flirting, but you're performing. Because cute gets tips, competence gets forgotten. You try not to keep score, but you do. Every time a coworker with less experience and more cleavage walks out with double your earnings, it chips away at your sanity. You start playing mental math games. Okay, they ordered steaks and wine. 20% would be good, but they seem uptight. Probably 10%. And that guy hasn't looked me in the eye once. Could be 0. You hate it. Not the math, the begging. Because that's what it is. You're not earning a wage. You're gambling on human decency. You bring them hot food, clear their mess, fold their napkins, and they decide if you deserve to buy groceries this week. And they know it. Some of them use it. I'll take care of you if you take care of me, one man says, sliding the menu back with a wink. You feel your stomach tighten, not from fear, just exhaustion. You've heard it before, you'll hear it again. Then there are the parents. The moms who tip poorly because you remind them of their teenage daughter, the dads who tip too well for the same reason, the ones who bring their kids and expect you to parent them for 45 minutes while they scroll on their phones. And when you finally drop the check, you do it with a smile. Because if you don't, they'll say you had an attitude. You clean up ketchup-stained tables and fish-broken crayons from under booths, hoping for a $5 thank you. Sometimes you get it, most times you don't. You learn that disrespect comes in many forms. Some of it is loud, shouted, obvious, but most of it, it's quiet, hidden in the tip line, masked as constructive feedback, baked into assumptions about what a waitress is supposed to look like, sound like, be like. You stop being surprised, but you never stop being disappointed. You start dreading the shift before it even begins. Not because of the hours, those have always been brutal, but because of the knowing. Knowing how it's going to feel before it even starts. The ache in your feet, the fake smile etched into your cheeks, the tension that lives between your shoulders from pretending all day. You put on your makeup like armor. Lip gloss, mascara, a little blush to distract from how tired you look. You do your hair just enough to look together, but not so good that someone takes it the wrong way. And still, someone will. Burnout doesn't hit you like a truck, it seeps. One slow table at a time, one manager who won't back you up, one coworker who leaves you hanging on a six-top during Saturday dinner rush. You get home and sit on the floor in your uniform because you're too tired to shower, too tired to cook, too tired to cry even though you want to. You scroll TikTok and watch people your age living some other life. One with weekends, with boundaries, with knees that don't pop every time they bend. You're not lazy, you're just running on fumes. And everyone assumes you're fine because you're still showing up. You take doubles because you need the money. Pick up brunch shifts even though they're a nightmare. Say yes when you want to scream no because someone else called in and the manager's really in a bind. You carry the team, but no one says thanks. You train the new girl who gets better shifts. You calm down the customer who should have been thrown out. You cover for the guy who always disappears when it's time to side work. You're always the reliable one. Until you're not. Until one day you snap a little too hard at a customer who talks to you like a child. Or cry in the cooler and stay in there too long. Or go home and start seriously Googling office jobs you swore you'd never do. You used to tell yourself this was temporary, just until school was done, or until you saved up, or until that other job came through. But now you're on year 3, Still stacking plates, still limping through Sunday nights, still explaining to people at parties that, yes, I still waitress. Like, it's something you have to outgrow. You don't hate the job. Not completely. Sometimes the crew feels like family. Sometimes the tips are good. Sometimes the shift flies by and the music's right and the regulars are decent. But that's the trap. It's just good enough to keep you here, just steady enough to keep you stuck. And when you finally have a day off, you sleep till noon. Not because you're lazy, but because for once, no one needs anything from you. Not a smile, not a refill, not a performance, just silence. And even that feels unfamiliar. You tell yourself it's just a job, but it follows you home. And how you flinch when someone calls your name. And the way you apologize before you speak. And how you say, "I'll be right back," without realizing it's become your default exit line, even outside work. You've been doing this so long it's hard to turn it off. You remember your first shift. Nervous, hopeful, polite. You wore your best jeans and triple-checked your apron. You wanted to get it right. Now you just want to get through it. You've been followed to your car. You've been called names for not smiling enough. You've been tipped with numbers, advice, gospel tracts, anything but cash. You've been rated, reviewed, dismissed, and somehow you're still here. Because you need it. Because it pays. Because you're good at it. Even though it's breaking you in slow, polite ways. The job doesn't ask for skill. It asks for obedience. It rewards charm, not hustle. Appearance over effort. And the worst part is, the better you get, the more invisible you become. You peel off your name tag at the end of the night and stare at yourself. Not the server, just you. And maybe that's the hardest part. That's why it sucks to be a waitress.